Welcome back to the Full Chat Podcast. My name is Eric Roberts, and we have one of my best friends in the studio named Samuel Grant. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm just peaches and cream. You ready to talk about some travel and some technology?
I am ready.
We're going to talk about New York City, and what was the technology thing that you said you wanted to talk about?
It has to do with the N64, I'll tell you that.
Bet. All right, we're going to roll the intro music. Welcome back, people. We're gonna have a good one for you. So tell me what you were doing with the N64.
Yeah, so a little background. Always loved N64 games like you. Haven't done any of the collecting stuff, but I've always loved the Zelda games. And about 4 or 5 months back, I found out that there is something called a randomizer that you can play for certain games. Love the game Ocarina of Time for the N64. And so I kind of started watching some people play it a while back. And I'll get into more of the details of what the randomizer does, but got into it. I was like, oh, I really want to do that. I want to download that for my computer. And okay, we'll see. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then because we're quarantined, the other day, I kind of remembered it, started watching some guy do some playthroughs and stuff like that. And I decided to tackle, getting that downloaded onto my computer yesterday. So that was really interesting. It took probably about 4.5 hours to set up.
Yeah. Because I have no idea what a randomizer is. No idea. I've had 4 Nintendo 64s at one point. Now I have 3 because I sold one.
Yeah.
Trying to sell my purple one because I don't really want it. But I still have the Pikachu one. Great. As well as the jungle green one that Classic. You pointed out in the pawn shop.
That's right. Yeah, that's
me and
time.
Jeremy, and it was $20, and it was like
such a steal.
Yeah, because during that day, it probably could have went for $80 or $90. But
easily.
Yeah. What's a randomizer?
Yeah, so there's this great community out there. First of all, you get, I can't technically say which one because you're not supposed to, but you can get different emulators for games. Everyone knows that. So I got an N64 emulator of a certain type. I got that downloaded. And then I got, the game Ocarina of Time downloaded. Can't say where. And seriously, it's weird.
That's funny.
Because the community, legally, they can't say where they got it. So I was looking at help stuff and how to download the randomizer and get that in there. And, they're like, you can watch our video, and people will be like, where do I do this? And I'm like, we can't tell you. You'll have to watch and look again.
It's funny that you say that. I remember Charles Yeager was telling me that something exactly of what you said. It's like, they tell you about it, but then you got to figure out because of legal reasons, right?
Yeah. They're a big, they're just a big group of people who love to play the game. But yeah, what the randomizer is, there's a lot of different settings which I can get into. But at its core, what the randomizer does is the game and love, Zelda. You have all these buildings you can go into, these temples and whatnot. But what the randomizer does is it mixes up all the entrances. So you might go into, let's just say, someone's house, and it's just like this fiery volcano, or you might go where you think is this tree that you're supposed to enter, and it'll be a temple way later in the game.
So what it does is you enter a place, and that place is not the original place where you're entering to. It randomizes it to be some different part of the game.
Yeah.
So does it work so explain it to me. I've never done that, and it sounds like the Zelda, do they have any parts of the game that you cannot go to until you've like reached that so far? So are there like items on the game that you need to go to these randomized places, but you can't get because like if you leave, then you will go to a random place, not the place that you're wanting to go to. Is that right?
Yeah. So there are different settings. They basically, along with the random places, there are random, all the items in the game are random. So the sword you want to use to kill enemies could be at the end of the game or it could be wherever. And there's settings, there's called logic settings and no logic. And what no logic does, and I'm very new to this, so I don't know a ton, but I do know what no logic does is it can place items to where you can't reach them, or, it can make seeds that are unbeatable. Technically, physically, you can't do it without like cheating or glitching, which a lot of people glitch, which is, part of the community. But I choose to do the logic ones because I don't know how to do glitches. But basically, you can still get trapped even if there is logic. I was playing yesterday and, I won't get into boring details, but I got dropped off somewhere and it wasn't a physical door. Someone basically teleported me somewhere, and I wanted to go back where I was, but that person had left, or that thing had left that could teleport me. So I got trapped between this graveyard and this desert that I couldn't cross. And I was like, well, I just have to load the save from the beginning again, So you can get trapped, and it is really difficult and weird.
Sorry for the people listening. What you're hearing in the background is Ronnie McConnell screaming because he is playing video games. So
classic.
If you hear this, tweet at Ronnie, and I think it's McConnell71. Tweet at him. Tell him to shut up.
Do it.
Love it.
He would love your tweets.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he would.
No, there's just a lot of installation.
Are you able to play on like against other people in this, or is it just like local player only?
Yeah, so they have what's really interesting about this community is, so you get everything set up. And then they have a website that is the seed generator. So you go into the website and they have the options. You can make it more or less difficult, more or less specific. I've done it, and it's fun to do this, where you shuffle all the songs and sound effects. So like one of your sounds might be like when you hit your sword, it might be a dog barking or something like that. There's a lot of like just really weird stuff like that.
What's that game that you played in the data center that was like you could have like a floating shack head that would chase people and stuff?
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Gary's mod. A lot of weird customization in that too. Yeah, which is like really old, but people are still making stuff for that too. Shaq mods, John Cena stuff, whatever you really want.
Is Shrek in there?
He sure is. That's and amazing. He will chase you to your heart's content.
That's amazing. So you're doing this all on a computer, like on a laptop, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Has any of like your brothers got into it, like Chris per se?
I've showed Christopher some of the stuff. I was actually showing him some this morning, and I think it's interesting to him. But I mean, it's really hard for me. But he doesn't seem interested enough to want to do the challenge. He's like, oh, it's cool to watch, but maybe not to play. For someone like me who really likes the game and has played it a lot, it's a new, interesting way to play. So I don't think, and I've talked to Ethan, my other brother, a little bit about it, but he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem too interested in that at the moment. But to answer a question you asked earlier, can you play with other people? When you make that seed online that I was telling you about, you get a link to that seed. So if you play a seed that's like really good, you can send it to your friends and other people in the community, and they'll play it or they'll get into it. You may keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Or you can also do what's called a race seed. So you generate a seed and like 3 or 4 other people get it as well. And then you all have a code at the top that says, okay, this is the right one. And they turn what's called the spoiler log off, so you can't really cheat and know what's going to happen, in the seed. That's a whole nother story. But you could share that with 4 people, and then you all do a race, and that's what's used for like tournaments and stuff like that. Who can really beat this randomly generated puzzle fastest? And
Interesting.
I haven't ever watched any of the races, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Are you just like using your laptop keyboard, or are you using a USB Nintendo 64 controller, or what?
That's the other thing that's been interesting that I'll get into is that initially, I have an Xbox 360 controller with the USB plug-in, because I still use it for like a DVD player.
Yeah.
So I tried it out, did some troubleshooting with that. Couldn't really get the controller to work on my computer. It was like, oh, whatever. So I have been using the keyboard, which has been weird because what they do with this emulator that I won't name is their key bindings and their regular buttons are based off of an SNES controller.
Oh my god!
So I forgot what an N64 controller is like because I haven't played one in so long. So I had to, use this reference sheet of this SNES. These are what the keys mean, and then I had to reprogram them to match as close to the N64 as I could get. And it's still, it's pretty wild, and it was really hard to do, but I finally figured it out. I am going to end up getting a controller, a GameCube controller, and then the adapter, which those work, and I've seen some people use them, so probably going to order that in the next, in a while. The other interesting thing that I ran into is, I told you earlier how I got stuck, and I was like, I don't know where to go. I have to, save and quit. I forgot that on the N64, how you save and quit is you reset. And there's no reset button that's programmed. So I was like, what do I do? You just have to exit out of the game, which, but there's a lot of weird challenges. Like, how do I map these buttons? It's just really strange, but it's been interesting and quite a learning process because getting that thing installed was tough, but it was.
If you have an Xbox One, were you using a 360 controller?
360. You could use an Xbox One controller if you wanted to.
Xbox One controller is really easy to use. So like the one that's to your right, that one particularly is very easy to use because you can just connect it Bluetooth. Yeah,
that's good. That's good too.
So your brother has one of those controllers that you could try to use.
Yeah,
until you get like a GameCube controller. Are you going to get one of the new GameCube controllers like for the Switch?
So I was looking at, it's funny, I was looking at some on Amazon, and they have one, it's like the basic, it's another company making it, but it looks like the same thing, your basic black GameCube controller. And then if you look at the adapter, it can adapt to PC, Wii U, and the Switch. So you just plug in your GameCube controller into the adapter, and then it has a USB port, USB plug-in that can plug into your Switch or your computer. So I was like, well, I'll get it, because I'll use it for more than just the computer if I ever get bored of this thing,
Yeah, I didn't know if you could, because they came out with those GameCube controllers for the Switch, so you can play like things like Smash or whatever.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
those are first party ones. I didn't know if you would. I don't know if they're USB or what connection that they're using.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I know my brother, he has a Wii U, and obviously they don't have, the Wii had the GameCube controller ports back then.
Yeah, on the top.
Wii U doesn't, of course, and so they had the same adapter that I'm going to get actually, and it's basically, mine's USB. I don't know if Christopher's is. It might be, but you plug in whatever your plug-in is, whether it's USB or not, and then you have a little box with basically 4 ports for GameCube controllers. So the GameCube controller I'm getting has the regular port that plugs into any GameCube, but
gotcha.
Specifically used for the adapter in this case.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. Do you have? Did your brother have Ocarina of Time on the 64?
That's a good question. I don't think he's gone after that, even though he has a small collection of games. I think he might. That's a good question. I know we have it on the GameCube, which is weird. We have a copy. It's the original. Well, we have 2 copies actually. We have a copy that's like basically an anthology. It's like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Zelda 1 and 2. And what's weird is they have a trailer of the Wind Waker on there, which is a game that's already out, but it wasn't out when this was made. And then we have another GameCube game that is Ocarina of Time, and then it also has Master Quest, which Master Quest is a really weird. I don't know if it was made for competitions or what, but it's a different version of the game. Everything's the same except the dungeons are, some are a little harder, some are just a little weirder. It's not that hard, but everything's switched up. And in that randomizer that I've been using, you can also add in the Master Quest dungeons, but I don't know them well enough to add them. Some people do. But yeah, so we have a couple copies, but I don't know that we have one for the N64 or not. It's a good question.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think I have a couple copies. I'm not mistaken. I think I have the gold copy, the gray copy as well.
Sure,
Yeah, I think I have both of them. Actually, I have Ocarina of Time in box.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
the gold edition in box, but the box is not the greatest.
Sure. Hard to find a good one.
Yeah, so yeah, I do have both of those copies. I think I'm trying to get rid of the gray copy.
Sure.
Actually, if it's here, I'll go ahead and just give it to you.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So
Whatever
I
works.
think it's here.
Sure.
Yeah, I brought both my Nintendo 64s here, so
Nice.
yeah. Anyway,
trying to think some of the other things about the randomizer that were just ridiculous and interesting. So in the game, obviously, the way I'm playing it, at least right now, is all the entrances are randomized. That's hard. All the items you can get are randomized. You just have to work with what you've got. It kind of forces you to think on your feet because it's like, well, I have enough equipment to go to this place, so I'll go do this.
yeah.
But you also can do all the keys are randomized, which is what I'm also doing. So you might not have enough keys to get through this place, so you'll go back to another. But then it gets even crazier because some people have done and are good enough to do. There are little spiders in the game that you hit and you get tokens.
Yeah.
Some people randomize them to have items. So a random spider in like a corner of the world might have your sword, and you have to like find it. And
that's amazing.
That's really hard. All the songs in the game you can randomize to where songs are actual items. So like I'll have to go find this physical song and then get it and use it. So there's a lot of weird stuff. The two funniest things that have happened, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but the sound effects being randomized, that's just really weird.
Yeah.
Songs will just not fit. Like you might go into a shop and it's like the final boss's theme and you're like, this is really intense. Like I'm just trying to buy like something. Okay.
Other than the randomizer, the one thing that I really was kind of looking forward to talk to you about was our trip to New York City.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that.
We went, couple years ago?
Couple years ago, yeah. It was March of spring break of my sophomore year. Yeah.
I don't even. Oh yeah, I remember how we ended up going there. I was talking to you about I was like, all right, where if you could go anywhere, where would you want to go?
Sure.
And you just were like, I don't know. And I think you said New York City. Yeah. I always forget that we went to New York City.
Yeah, it is a weird time in our lives, but it was a good one,
Yeah, and so I think the deal was.
Yep. I still had to do it. Yeah.
And guess what? We have
recording stuff.
More than ample recording stuff.
We sure do.
It was a song by Wiz Khalifa.
I
can't think of
an old favorite. I know the name.
What's the name?
It is called So High.
Yeah, I think that it was either that one or one of the ones that was like just really stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, the deal was that you would record your version of How High, and I would pay for your flight.
Yep, and you did.
Yeah, paid for your flight.
Still need to record
it. probably will never happen, but that's fine.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And then so I paid for your flight, and we split the Airbnb that was in Jamaica, New York.
That's right.
Which I kept calling Jamaica for some.
Oh yeah, that's right,
reason.
Jamaica.
Yeah, it was stupid. And so we flew from Indianapolis. We drove, let's see. Well, we didn't drive. Your mom drove us to Indianapolis in her old Pacifica.
Yep.
Excuse me.
You're good.
And dude, if you say that.
This happens all the time in our lives.
That's right.
You're good.
Yeah. Flew out of Indianapolis. It was like hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah.
To Newark, New Jersey.
Yep.
And from Newark, we took a train from Newark, and it was so funny because on the train we got the tickets. I think the tickets were like $10-15 or something like that. And we were sitting on the train, and it was like a rickety train. It was not new. It was not nice.
No.
Fairly dirty, and it was probably 30-minute train ride into Manhattan itself. Yeah. And then you arrive in Manhattan at Penn Station, right under Madison Square Garden.
And what did we have when we got there?
Nathan's hot dogs.
That's right.
It was so fire.
They were
But
so good.
but before we get to Nathan's,
Sure.
when we were on the train, they had that person who was like the ticketing person who took our tickets, and they did the
Oh yeah, yeah, like in Polar Express.
yeah, like Polar Express.
Yeah.
And when they took the tickets, because we were like, we got on the train, like we didn't give any tickets to anybody.
Yeah.
And they came by,
That's
they took our
right.
tickets, and when they took our tickets, you looked at me like with such a surprised face. You're like,
it was just so magical. There was so much wonder. I was like, oh my gosh, we're here, and they're punching our tickets. This is like a dirtier Polar Express. It was great.
For sure. And so, yeah, arrived at Penn Station, super hungry.
Yep.
Got Nathan's hot dogs. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So warm. It's just nice.
They were very tasty. And then I didn't realize that they had crinkle cut fries.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of crinkle cut fries.
Not my favorite.
But those ones.
Those were good. They were very good.
They're crazy. Crazy good. And then after that, went to street level, and there you are with the Penn Station, or not Penn Station, Madison Square Garden behind you.
Sure.
And you kind of see all the buildings, like when you fly in and stuff, and like you see the buildings from the air, and then you see it from the train and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're in it, and then I can't remember. Did we get on like a different train, or did we go somewhere that day?
Let's see. What did we do that day? So our first day, I feel like we wanted to see some things before. We just kind of explored before we went to find our home away from home, which was that Airbnb, Jamaica. I'm trying to piece together that day.
Yeah, it's fine. I think on that same street that Madison Square Garden's on, I think the Empire State Building.
It was, because I took a picture there, and that was my saver for the longest time.
My screen shaver?
My screen shaver.
Yeah. You wanna fill in the dead air while I get the iPad so we can look at some of
so we can look at some of those photos. So
right.
It was just a really nice day. I mean, it's still cold because we went there in March, and by the time we got up on the street level, the sun was kind of rising, kind of shining on some of those taller buildings, whereas the lower street level stuff was still a little shady. So just some really nice contrast. And it was really pretty to just kind of walk through the city, and also never seen so much people together, so consistent.
Yeah, now you see that now, and you think it's like a health hazard.
Yeah, that's true. You think about that, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a bunch of things. We were there. We went and saw a musical on Broadway. Went to Ellis Island, Liberty Island,
the museum.
It wasn't Mama or Mom.
No, it was the Guggenheim.
That's right.
And then the Museum of Natural History, the one from 90 Museum.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
That was cool. There's so much to look at in all of those museums,
Yeah, that's like for people who don't know, the area around Central Park. So we went from the Natural History Museum across Central Park and went to the Guggenheim. I remember that.
Yeah. You see movies like Elf, where they have the snowball fight in Central Park, or other movies, and you think Central Park is like, a little more condensed, like it's beautiful and it's like foresty. The park is huge, and for people who've been there, they know. But Eric and I were quite surprised at how big it was, and we wish we would have got to spend some more time there. But it's a really big park, and going through it, and crossing it was a long time,
Yeah. So I think from what my first picture is that I'm showing Sam is a picture of the Empire State Building, and we left probably around midday, and then I remember what we did the first day.
Yeah,
we went to Freedom Tower.
That's right.
Gorgeous. Freedom Tower is the new World Trade Center. It is the biggest building in the United States. It is. I know I'm gonna get this wrong. It's not. It's 1776 feet or something. The dimension of the building is 1776.
Wow.
So obviously that was like the year that the United States became our independence. And I kid you not, if you do not go to anything else in New York City and you have one thing that you want to go see, the 9/11 Memorial is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And just a really good way to remember.
Yeah, it's for sure a great memorial. That's like no joke. It's like 2 giant waterfalls that are in place of where the buildings stood, and it's like it's very steep, and there's names all around the border, all around the edge of the waterfall of the people who unfortunately did not survive the 9/11 attacks. Yeah. But I will say, like, we did not go into the 9/11 memorial, the museum. Yeah. But you can walk up to the memorial for free, and I kid you not, that it may be weird to say, but it was probably my favorite memorial that I've been to. Yeah. Just because it really puts it into perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's just a lot of emotion there. It's very, it's a really great, I feel like it really honors, that moment and those people. And, it's also just kind of interesting because, it's not exactly in the heart of the city, but it's pretty densely in there, so there's just this really great moment in the middle of all this busyness. And I remember another thing about going there, that day when we went there, we also went back in the daytime the next morning, or one of the few mornings we were there. But someone had brought little roses to put in each of the names.
Yeah, here's a photo of it.
Yeah. So that was just really special, especially at night.
Yeah, that was a really good experience of being there. And how dumb are we? Like, no joke. We picked a spring break.
Yeah, to go to a northern city that is cold.
Yeah. And I remember it was very cold.
Yeah, we narrowly avoided a blizzard, which we'll get to later.
That's for sure.
But yeah.
It
wasn't as bad as we thought it would be.
The only reason that we narrowly avoided it, which essentially in Indiana terms, that was probably a blizzard because of how much it was.
Yeah.
So actually that night, so the date that we went and saw, I think the first date that we were there was, so this was actually 3 years ago. This was March 12th, 2017.
Man.
Yeah. So it was that night when I remember we stopped at a souvenir shop late at night, got souvenirs. And then after that,
tell
me what happened.
I thought you would allude to that. So, being rookies, newbies, this is one of my first times traveling. Eric had been, some other times before that, but we had.
But this was my first time to New York City, so.
Oh, true. But we had decided to take an Uber.
Let's go.
And I don't know where. I knew at one point we took like 2 or 3 to try to get back to our home, but I think that's later. But we get in this Uber, and we've never forgotten this guy because he was so sweet and so nice, and he just made us feel welcome.
Yeah, he was very encouraging, super inspirational. Yep. He said that he was driving for his family and trying to get to make money for his family back home in China.
Yeah.
And to send money back home. And I remember, like, in his visor, he had no less than like 50 to 75 cards in there that says what like Uber companies,
rideshare
services that he drove for.
Yeah, and he would just flip different cards, for whoever he was driving for. I know he was just this really sweet guy, and his name was Hang.
Hang, if you ever hear this or you're ever listening to this,
oh my gosh,
by far you're a 6 out of 5 star Uber driver. Like,
he's just a great guy.
Yeah, the guys because we did the Uber share, and in the Uber share there was probably 2 or 3 other guys that were in the car, and they're like, "All right, Hang, we'll see you next time." Whatever. Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
huh?
I was like, out of how many drivers there are and how many people there are in New York City, what is the odds of them having like the same driver. I mean, they might have
Yeah.
known him personally, but like I feel like the odds of
that
getting him very often is very slim.
Yeah, well,
So it seems like they knew him.
Yeah, well, and then he also, he tried to make you feel welcome, and one of the ways he did that was, I mean, we're just some country boys from Indiana, from the Midwest.
That's right.
And he was like, well, I live in New York, and, obviously, but he was like, when I go to New York, when people come to New York and ask me what to see, I tell them, to see the Statue of Liberty and this and that. He's like, if I went to Indiana, what would you have me see?
Oh, yeah.
I
forgot.
It was just
that.
very sweet. And we were, being from Indiana, we're like, well, there's not much besides corn and the Indy 500.
And the 500 is fire.
But we told him about the Indy 500, and he was just listening, and he seemed to want to care, which is just really nice. Some of the other drivers we had, were on phone conversations the whole time, and, we get it, but, they were just kind of not very personable. But Hang was just a really warm guy that made us feel welcome on our first night in, this scary place, the big city.
I remember we had one Uber driver. He was taking us, like we were lost like on the subway, so we're just gonna Uber home. Mm-hmm. And he was driving so crazy.
Oh yeah,
no joke.
That was crazy.
I was low key afraid for my life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you watch like TV shows like Seinfeld, when the transition scene is like a bunch of cars outside and they're just honking.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Yeah.
Cars are honking constantly.
It's a stereotype. No, it's pretty noisy.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
People just honk to honk.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's the honk goes for everything there. And the other thing kind of in this realm of subjects that I thought was interesting was the people there. I mean, we'll get to them in a bit, but the people there, when they walk across the streets, are just so brave, because it can be like
they care.
They don't care at all. They don't care whether they live or die. It's just another day for them,
Yeah,
and
you just go.
And a pack of people will cross on a green light, when traffic's backed up, and they don't care.
They'll cross on red light, green light, yellow light, doesn't matter.
Any of so that was really interesting to see too.
Yeah. So the second day that we were there, we went to Wall Street. And we went and saw the bull, I think it's called the Charging Bull, if I'm not mistaken. And then not too long after we had been there, or actually a little bit before we had been to New York, they put like a little girl standing in front
temporary installation.
Yeah, I think I remember someone telling me that they're going to keep it there permanently. It was kind of interesting. Like, what are they, if they did take it away, where are they going to put it?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do with this? Like, melt it down? I don't know,
Yeah. I don't know if they'll melt it down as much as, like, they might put it in one of the museums there in New York, or they might create, like, or put it in a new position to where it's, I guess, not in front of the Charging Bull or whatever it is. But also, when you're on Wall Street is actually not accessible by car.
No. It's only
walkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I understand completely why they do it. But also by Wall Street, they have the old city courthouse that we went into.
Yeah.
And that I think it's a courthouse.
When you think about Wall Street, you think about I know what you mean. I think that is. You think about like, businessy stuff and like new fancy, top of the line things, but it's interesting that the streets around it are older streets from way back in the day. I want to say the street in front of that courthouse that Erica was talking about is like stone or some sort of cobblestone. It's weird. It's an interesting part of the city.
Yeah, that's exactly how that is. It's stoned. I think they have, electronic pillars that kind of go up and down to like
makes sense.
If there's like some type of service need, or I think probably if an ambulance needs to come through, I think they're able to do that. And then after that, I think that day we kind of just wandered around and just kind of got lost. But actually that same day we stayed in Lower Manhattan because that day we had to go to Liberty Island.
That's right.
To go see the Statue of Liberty. And that was crazy because you go to Battery Park, and that's the lowest part of Lower Manhattan.
Yeah.
and you have to go through pretty much TSA security.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you have to go through TSA security there. Then you hop on this ferry. We basically froze on this ferry because of all the cold wind and everything like that. And then we're on the ferry. This is actually something that was pretty cool. Kind of to backtrack is there's this really cool Jesus, Ronnie.
He's going crazy.
He's going crazy in there. But the ticketing office.
Yeah.
That was cool because it's a big circle.
Yeah.
And you just kind of stand around. And you actually have pretty good views of Lower Manhattan.
Yeah, it was almost like a little holding pen, but it was nice.
It's like a prison pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
Nice.
I will say, if you're going to the Statue of Liberty and you want to go to her crown, you have to. Well, maybe not now. You probably
still.
You probably can't even get to the Statue of Liberty now.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if national parks are closed, but I imagine that one's definitely closed.
Back
well,
and
New York City is completely
New York
closed.
City is completely closed. That's right. So probably not.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, if you wanna get into a crown during normal times, it's like a 4-month wait.
Yeah, it's like getting into the White House. You need to be on a reservation list, and you're reserved way ahead of time.
Yeah, you have to do it maybe at least 4 months ahead of time, and whenever we were planning the trip, we didn't have that much time.
Sure, yeah.
So there's 3 levels. There's the crown, the pedestal, and then just being on the island. We did the pedestal one.
Yeah, which was still really nice, and a great view.
Yeah, it was a great view. You could see a bunch of things. Being right up there on the Statue of Liberty is it was a really weird feeling because you always see the Statue of Liberty in a bunch of movies and National Treasure and blah 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 blah.
Day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. Until you're there, it's a real weird thing. It's almost like meeting a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever met a celebrity, but I guess yeah. Oh, rest in peace. I know.
Rest in peace. He was a very nice man when I met him. Anyway.
Yeah. Even though you guys didn't know the song.
Oh, yeah. We didn't know some of the songs.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So, briefly, when I was in high school, Terre Haute North Vigo High School.
Shout out. Gang,
Go Patriots.
Who were you talking about before the podcast started? Mr. Gibbons. Shout out Mr. Gibbons.
Patrick Gibbons.
Mr. Gibbons, if you're listening to this, shout out you. Shout out Cinder's Dreams. Shout out, what's his podcast?
I almost said full chat. No, it's First Team All Nonsense.
First Team All Nonsense.
They just released an episode today.
Did they?
They did.
I need to follow.
Check them out on Facebook.
Oh, do they not have it on Spotify and stuff?
I think they do. I know they have it on Apple Podcast. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, I'll have to see if it's on Google.
Yeah.
What did I knock over?
A dust can, so you're good.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, so briefly, when I was in high school, I did a lot of choir. I sang in Counterpoints for a few years, which was our highest choir, and we got the opportunity when Kenny Rogers came to town to sing. He likes to choose a high school choir to sing with him, so he chose our choir. We were fortunate enough, and we sang for his Christmas concert type thing, and so we got to meet him. He's a really sweet, really nice guy. We got to watch his concert in the Holman Center, but we did feel bad. We were part of the crowd, and he...
Well, I mean, you're on stage.
That's true. We were on stage, when we sang with him, and then watching the rest of the concert, we were in the crowd, but... he's old. He was older at the time. This was quite a few years ago now. But he was walking around slowly. He had a stool he would sit on. He's getting up there at that time. But he was kind of sad or annoyed because he would sing his songs, and a lot of us are younger, so we didn't know all the words. And he would point the mic to us and, okay, sing the rest of it. And we'd be like, we don't know it. And he'd be like, oh, come on, guys, And so, good old Kenny Rogers.
That's so funny. How long did you practice some of his songs? And how many songs did you do?
we just did some traditional Christmas songs with him, and we probably practiced for 2-3 months. And so we just did a little Christmas set with him. He might be the main singer for let's just say Little Town of Bethlehem, and then we did some backup stuff like that. So it was fun. It was nice.
That's fun.
Well, we were talking about the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. So the statue, yeah. So me personally, I guess, I met I'm doing air quotes, but at least I got a picture with Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because I listen to his podcast.
Yeah,
often.
great podcast.
Love the dude. See, even in person from the short time that I saw, it seemed like he was super cool to interact with.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. I mean, it was really funny because the entire game, me and John Nation, like I was like live tweeting at Pat McAfee during the game, like, yo, can I get this? And like anytime
funny.
Yeah, anytime I would see him on his phone, I'd like tweet him to see if I could get him to get the picture with him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I'm
in the hopes that he would turn his head.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where you're at.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Loved what he did with the Colts. It's funny because like a lot of people come on a show and like yeah, we'd be playing against you, and then like they like introduce you and do introductions and stuff like that, and they're cheering for the punter.
Yeah.
Or like whenever he would come on the field for 4th downs to punt the ball, like the crowds in Indianapolis were like cheering.
He's just a lot of fun. It's a fun guy, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I know for me, the Statue of Liberty, you know, is really great and an awesome experience. But you know, it is kind of like you said, a celebrity. You know, I'd almost compare it to like it's used as such a set piece or a prop in so many movies that you feel like, okay, I'm, you know, with this famous place, and it was interesting. But it's really nice. Get out there and not on a winter day, but it's a really nice. There's a little park around it, you know, because it's a big island.
Well, Samuel, we're practicing social distancing.
That's
right
true.
now.
Actually, don't get out there at all. Stay inside. Never leave your house.
At least right now.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Yeah. So if you buy a ticket to Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, you automatically get a ticket to go to Ellis Island. Yeah. You get the dual package type deal.
That's right. 2 for 1.
Yep. 2 for 1. And even if so, you can do one of two things.
Yep.
You can ride so you can actually go to the Statue of Liberty for 2 ways. One through New Jersey, one through New York.
That's right.
And
Johnny's going crazy about the Statue of Liberty in there.
He's a big fan.
He's a big fan of the lady.
Big fan. He's like, oui, oui. No.
Get from the French. Yep.
Yeah. So if you leave from New York, you go to the Statue of Liberty, and then you have to go to Ellis Island. Either you can stay on the boat, or you can get off on the island and go see the island.
And you should.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
And then it's real weird. We'll get into that. And then so you hop on the boat, then you get back to Battery Park.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of go from
It's like a little circle, you know, a 3-stop circle.
Yeah. And it doesn't, like, it does take time, but it doesn't. So we actually had to go through like 2 TSA type securities.
That's right, yeah.
We had to go through security again once you arrive at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it when you go to Ellis Island. Yeah. So Ellis Island was pretty cool. I personally don't know of any relatives that have gone through there, but I mean, I'd always want to see Ellis Island because, you know, you hear about it all the time in the movies, and a big percentage of people in the United States can trace their ancestors coming through that place. And there's nothing that like hugely stuck out to me. Yeah. But one of the biggest things that stuck out to me was we were on the 2nd or 3rd floor. We get in the elevator. And we get in there with a man, a woman, and their son, and they.
I remember now.
They start speaking German, and
it was your time to shine.
It was my time to shine because I had taken only 1 semester of German at that time, and at that time, like, I was fairly good at understanding elementary German.
You could sprechen some Deutsch, yeah.
I can speak in the Deutsch. Yeah. And it was funny because the little kid turned around and in German, I don't know what the words are, but in English, he said in German, I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll go for it. He said, what floor do you want to go to? And his dad goes, Eins. And like, after that interaction happened, I immediately snapped my head to look at Sam. I was like, I'll tell you when we get off.
I'm like, ooh, he's got a secret for me. I wonder what he's going to tell me. Yeah.
So we all get off the elevator on the 1st floor, and we get out. I wait for the people to go. I was like, Sam, I know what they said. They said they wanted to go to floor 1.
I was like, wow, thanks.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't
It's a revelation.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious because that's where we ended up. That's where we are now. But that was like my most proud German speaking or German listening moment.
Those language moments are fun.
Yeah, that was fire. And then actually after that, so I think unless it was a different day, let's see, we went to Statue of Liberty on March 13th, 2017. And then let's see. Oh, yep, same day. We I think that was
These are dedicated hype, man.
Gosh dang it, Ronnie.
Tweet at him.
Tweet, yeah. I hope he listens to this and he
me
hears
too.
himself in the background. Yeah. He's so loud. I closed the door and we can still hear him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he's probably what 30 feet, 20 30 feet away.
Yeah.
Yeah, about. So after we left Ellis Island, we went to the Harley Davidson store.
Oh yeah, for Larry.
Yeah, for Larry, our old coworker.
Larry Phillips.
Anytime I would go somewhere, he would ask me to get him a T-shirt to wear. I traveled. It's like when I went to Australia, he was like, "Hey, can you give me a shirt?" And I was like, "Okay." I didn't realize how expensive these shirts are. It's just like a normal like graphic T-shirt, and it's like $50 or more. And he would give me $100, and then he'd be like, "Oh well, here's $100. Keep the rest. Get yourself a kangaroo burger or whatever for Australia." And he didn't have like a saying for the New York City one, but yeah, went to the one in New York City, got him a shirt. I can't remember what I'd end up doing with the rest of the money.
Yeah, I don't know.
But after that, we got on the subway. Let's see. I'll have to see. Oh, we were trying to go to the Empire State Building. I got lost because I was the navigator.
Sure.
And we found
tough job though.
Yeah, we got lost in Chinatown in New York City.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we got lost in Chinatown in New York City. Found this hole in the wall ice cream place. I'm pretty sure. Oh my
gosh, so
exists.
Good.
Yep, I have a picture of it right now that I'm showing Sam.
Crowded, wall to wall people, tiny little place.
It was crazy.
Worth the wait.
It was crazy because we were walking outside, and when we were walking, we kept seeing people like, "Where'd you get that? Wait, is that a fish?"
Yeah, it's like your ice cream cone looks like a little fish with its mouth open, and at the opening where its mouth is where the ice cream goes, and you're holding on to the fish. We're at the heart of Chinatown, and you don't expect to see. There's all these people. Think of your typical like Instagram influencers and like people who are like more trendy, and they're like walking around with these ice cream cones that look like fish, and we're like, what? So we finally find this place, and it's just packed with those kinds of people, but it was worth it.
Yeah, it was very serendipitous where we passed the place by complete accident, and I wasn't even hungry. You weren't even hungry.
No.
And I was like, "Do you want to go get one of those?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes."
You're darn right I do.
Yeah, so like I don't remember the one you have, but the picture that we're looking at, kind of imagine this. You have this like actually fairly detailed fish, and the cone is
really
like,
nicely detailed.
When he says it's a waffle cone, it's not like a hard waffle cone.
No.
It was actually a fresh like a waffle out of like a waffle iron.
Yeah.
And it was like floppy and flimsy and whatnot, and then
soft
it kind of it kind of gets like I think a little crispy as time goes on.
Yeah.
But they put this like at the very bottom they put custard.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep, put custard at the bottom, and then they swirl that ice cream up to the top. And mine had chocolate syrup drizzle with a strawberry in the side, and then like a chocolate stick poked in it. And it was like the ice cream was very smooth.
Yeah,
very tasty. Like Sam said, wall to wall people packed, and like it was just cool that we were able to actually find that.
I think the only downside to those was that the warmth of the waffle cone mixed with the ice cream would kind of melt.
You had to eat it fast.
You had to eat it fast. Taking pictures of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was fine with that. But
yeah, it was good, though.
Yeah, that was the same day we ended up going to the Empire State Building to actually go inside and stuff like that. And for people who have seen Elf, like we've talked about before, the lobby, or any movie that has the lobby, it looks like it's weird because it feels like you're in a movie set because all the history and all that good stuff. And we thought about going to Freedom Tower as well, or we were going to do one or the other. We ended up just doing the Empire State Building because like the
busy day, you know.
Well, the more iconic of the buildings was really our reasoning. And like from what I heard, some of the people were like, oh yeah, the Freedom Tower's great. Like the observation deck is super cool. But for me, I think one of the biggest influences to go to that place, like the movie that I enjoyed the best, was Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they filmed on like the observation deck and stuff like that, and that was the portal to get to like the heavens or whatever. So really enjoyed that. Observation deck was super windy.
Yes.
Super cold.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, I mean,
but a nice view of the city.
Oh yeah, incredible.
Gorgeous.
Incredible views of the city for sure. I mean, I imagine Rockefeller Center has good views as well. I wonder if you can go up in the Chrysler Tower at all to like go see any of the buildings.
Know. That's a good question.
Yeah, the Chrysler Tower is very close to the Empire State Building. You can see Lower Manhattan in like if you're in the Empire State Building itself. Yeah, New York City is like it's a crazy place.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it. It was wonderful. You know, not just as a tourist, but I just really enjoyed the atmosphere, the feeling, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
There always felt like there was something to do, always some like restaurant to go to. Like people could go there and literally not go to the same restaurant every day for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's really, there's just a lot there, you know.
Yeah, it's insane. And then that night, man, the 13th, we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was a tiring day.
Yeah, yeah. We went to Statue of Liberty, Ellis Islands, what did I just say? Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And then we went to go see Miss Saigon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I hate that so from what I saw of Miss Saigon, I actually really loved it and really enjoyed it. But I actually fell asleep.
I forgot you fell asleep. Yeah.
I fell asleep in the middle. And like I woke up and I kind of like looked over. You looked at me like in pure disgust, like you peasant.
Oh, I hope I didn't mean to.
You fell asleep during this. How could you?
Yeah, it's just a funny thing about the Miss Saigon thing. So, man, I don't know how we ended up doing it, but to make a long story short, you know, we're traveling the city all day, and that's right, and you know, we got stuff to see, we got stuff to do. But when you go to a Broadway show, obviously there's somewhat of a dress code, so you want to dress nice. So I'm pretty sure we put our dress stuff into our backpacks as we were traveling around. And then I remember for dinner, we're like, oh, what's for dinner? Well, let's go to this Wendy's, which is like a 2-floor Wendy's. Like there's street level, and then you go down.
Yeah, I remember.
And there's more seating down there. And then, you know, we're eating and we're like, oh man, like we got to change for our show. So we go to the bathroom and it's like 3 or 4 square feet. And there's a pipe going up the wall. So you're like leaning against this pipe, changing into your nice clothes, leave the trashy Wendy's and then go to the theater. I can't remember what theater it was, but where we saw Miss Saigon. So we're exhausted from the day. He falls asleep understandably.
I think I only fell asleep for probably 10, 15 minutes.
Probably not. It wasn't a long time. It's not like half the show. It's just a tiny, tiny bit.
The show was actually very long.
It was long. Yeah, it's a longer show. It was, so, I mean, if you don't know anything about Miss Saigon, it's about Vietnam War and a Vietnam vet who has a child with a woman and kind of leaves and comes back. And it's really sad. But they're the same people who made Les Mis. And it was funny because we were there. We had, pretty good seats for the price. And Ronnie really liked the price of those seats. Shout out Ronnie.
That's right.
But I'm sure Eric had a lot to deal with because I'm sitting there, I'm crying the whole time because I'm on Broadway, and then I'm crying because the show is so good and sad, and it was quite an experience.
Yeah, I remember that now. You were crying because of how good it was.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Also, I can't remember what the name of the theater.
I don't either. I have the playbills at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when someone says they go to a show on Broadway, they mean there's a bunch of different theaters on Broadway, right? Mm-hmm. They had the Eugene O'Neill Long Theater.
Yeah.
That was not the one we went to. Yeah, I think it was the Eugene O'Neill Long presented by PlayStation.
Long's not a part of his name.
Theater.
Or are you just saying it? I didn't know if you were.
What?
The long part?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just Eugene
It's just
O'Neill.
Eugene O'Neill. The long part's from Avengers. Yeah.
Gosh.
No, you're good.
All right. So for the people who don't know, I think it's the first Avengers.
I think so.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson, his character, he comes up to Robert Downey Jr. And they're on Hawkeye's farmhouse, and he's trying to fix the tractor, and Samuel L. Jackson says, "Long day," and Robert Downey Jr. says, "You don't even know, it's Eugene O'Neill Long." And so we looked it up. Well, I looked it up, and I told Sam.
Yep.
It was Eugene O'Neill was an author that wrote
playwright.
Did he write a play or a book?
He wrote tons of plays, just plays.
Just plays? Okay. He wrote a play called Long Journey's Day to Night.
Long Day's Journey into Night.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you actually end up reading it.
I did. That's good.
It's a very sad book.
It's a pretty sad play. Pretty short. I didn't have to read it for class, but I just happened to have it. So I was like, guess what I'm reading? He's like, wow. I was like, whoa. So
yeah.
But yeah, Eugene O'Neill Theater.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. That wasn't the theater we went to. I can't remember what the name is, but it's literally right next to the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, that was cool too. Just seeing that,
Yeah, the Ed Sullivan Theater, right?
Yeah, yep, yeah, his theater.
Yeah, so that was really cool. You'd see, his face plastered on the side
everywhere. Yeah, or plasters for other shows like Wicked or Aladdin. Just everywhere.
Yeah. So like if there's like an off Broadway play or an off Broadway musical, it just means it's like it's going to be close to Broadway Street, but it's probably going to be on like an adjacent street or something like that.
Yeah, we'd go down the street and it'd be like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical. And you're just like, well, okay. It's just right there. Not as big as some of the bigger marquee shows, but still there.
Nice word.
Oh, thanks.
Something I didn't realize, for people who don't know, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the Ed Sullivan Theater, is on Broadway, and it's right down the road from Times Square. So where we were standing in line to get into the theater, what are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking about something about Times Square McDonald's.
We'll get to
that.
When you started talking about the Wendy's, I started dying laughing because I was like, "Oh, we're telling that."
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the bread and butter there. Yeah. So I think after that we end up walking into Times Square. After that, that's what we end up doing.
Yeah.
And I'd always wanted to go to the McDonald's there.
Yeah.
And it's like low key kind of fire. But
it is.
Something that I didn't realize that I pointed out to you is, excuse me, they leave the ball for New Year's. Like it's there all the time.
It's just there.
It's not like a temporary thing. They may change like the numbers to 2020 or 2021 or whatever it is, but the ball is always there. It's like just waiting to be dropped. Yeah, so that was really cool. Times Square, very bright, very bright. Hold up. Did Jesus. We went into McDonald's that night.
Oh yeah.
After the show.
After the show.
We are a bunch of hood rats.
Yeah, we were in our nice clothes at the McDonald's.
Well, no. We went to, I think we got food at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Changed in Wendy's.
Yep.
Went to the theater.
Yep.
Left the theater. Went to McDonald's.
Heck yeah, man. As you do.
So what Sam's about to explain to you, I don't know if this happened to him this same night.
Yeah, there's 2 different times when we went. We've got stuff
I
to say about
feel like we
them.
went. I think we went to McDonald's like 3 times.
Maybe 3, yeah.
But go ahead and tell your McDonald's story.
Yeah, so man, so much to say. So much in this moment. So the Times Square McDonald's, I like that Wendy's, it has 2 levels. There's an upper and a ground floor level. And there's this thing about Times Square McDonald's. They have they want to prevent homeless people from coming in and just sleeping in their bathrooms. It's a big city. They have a big homeless problem.
Or even just using the bathroom.
Or even just using the bathroom. So what happens is all the doors have a code on them, and you have to order something to get the code. The receipt. There's a code for the day on the receipt, and then you type in your code and you go into the bathroom. Well, 2 different times. You know, I go to the bathroom. I press the code. It clicks. If you know the code, it's gonna open. So I kind of forgot about the whole knocking thing, and I just click in my code, beep 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 beep, and then it clicks, and I'm like, great, here we go. I open the door, and there's a guy in there that I walk in on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and he's like freaking out, and like this is big public McDonald's. He's like worried. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, so I slam the door and take my place in line again, and then I forget about that whole thing, and it happens another time, and I walk in on someone else. So that was just my habit while I was at McDonald's, Times Square McDonald's, was to accidentally walk in on someone. And then the other thing that happened with that was I was going to the restroom, and a gentleman came up to the door, and he's just knocking furiously, like really loudly, as fast as he can. And I'm like, hey, I'll be out in just a second. I'm washing my hands, and it's just furious knocking, and he's like, please hurry up, open up, I have to go, let me in. And I'm like, whoa, like this guy is like yelling and screaming. He's not mad, but he like in desperation,
Oh my
he's
gosh.
like, please. And I'm like, okay. So I finally finish up and open the door. He kind of moves me aside. I move out of the way. He jumps in there and slams the door. He just really had to go. Yeah. That McDonald's just had a lot of weird stories because there was all of that. At one point, they were repairing the ceiling tiles in the line. That. So, like, you have, here's where you order on your first cash register, second and third. Like, number 2 or 3, they just had a giant ladder where some guy was up there repairing ceiling tiles. And at one point, he was repairing back kind of where your food was prepared. So that was interesting and weird. And I remember another time this guy came in and he was like, hey, I need the number off of your receipt so I can go to the bathroom. So it was just a really weird place, but a lot of fun, cheap food cheaper food if you're traveling. So yeah,
it's funny because the first time I sat down, I was waiting for the food to like be brought to us, and I saw you typing in the code. I was like, and I think I saw a guy.
You were across the way, so you had a full view of what was going on.
Well,
here.
I saw a guy go in there, and then you like came around the corner or whatever you came from doing, and then like you went to the bathroom, and like I was too far away just to be like, hey,
no,
yeah, and so I just started dying laughing, and then you open up the door, and I was like, oh, and then you
sorry,
then you looked at me and you're like. What's happening?
What's going on here?
Yeah. So and then it's kind of like a running joke. It's like we end up hitting that McDonald's like 2 or 3 times just because I think like we were going through the area or whatever.
Never got a toy though. That was a shame.
A toy?
Yeah, like a Happy Meal toy. We should have. A little souvenir, but we didn't ever do it.
I was like, do they have like special ones or something like that?
That would be cool.
The weird thing is I don't understand is like it was just a 1-person bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's like
Times Square.
Like one of the busiest places in the world.
Yeah. Like I said, the other thing, I just assumed that when you hit the code, it's not going to unlock if, there's someone in there. Yeah. But,
Yeah. Sure, I mean, that was definitely a good assumption.
Yeah. It was still fun. It makes for a good story.
Yeah. That was March 13th, and the following day, it was obviously March 14th. That was the day it snowed.
Yes. Yeah. That big day.
It probably snowed no less than 10 inches.
Mm-mm.
It was crazy because like we stayed in for a little bit, and it was weird because it wasn't cold that day.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But like the thing, like I didn't realize what happened. So you'll have people who they're shoveling snow. Mm-hmm. They shovel the snow onto the cars, and then there's the snow plows that are on the road, and they plow the snow into the cars, right?
Yeah.
And so it makes it makes giant piles of snow on the cars, but it also makes giant piles of snow like if you're trying to cross the street, you literally have to go over basically mountains of snow.
Yeah, or halfway down the block around it. It just these huge snow piles that keep happening.
Yeah, the first couple blocks we didn't have any problems, but then I remember we crossed. It was when we were going to the subway because we stayed in Jamaica. Jamaica's literally the end of the line for the subway.
Yeah, it is.
And it's an hour to get into the city. into Manhattan, right?
I think so.
By subway.
Yeah.
And like the subway, you ever see those movies that like have the subway and it looks sketchy and you just like see someone just kind of sitting there just like you don't know if they're totally all the way in there. And being at the end of the line, like we had fairly empty cars.
Yeah.
And then we'd go into the city. But I remember like when we first stepped into the snow piles, it was weird because jeez, Ronnie. The snow, like the snow that was on the surface, like that was fine. But you would step through that, and then underneath that was the water that was running, right? And so you step down and you just step all the way through it, and you're like, oh, and then you get I was like, the first time it happened to me, I got my socks like completely wet, soaking wet.
It's like 30-degree weather.
Yeah, it was weird because it's 30-degree weather, and we both had wet socks, wet shoes, the whole
entire day.
Whole day.
And, at first we were just like, oh man, like when you think of wet socks, you're just like, oh, I got to get these dry. Oh, this sucks. Change your socks. This is the worst. But I mean, an hour into it, an hour and a half after that, we're just like, we're just going to have wet socks all day. That's just how it's going to be. We just have to live with it.
Yeah, there was no point. Like we needed boots and we didn't have boots.
Nope.
Yeah. And fortunately enough, like our feet did not freeze or anything. It was weird because like our feet were just wet. They
it wasn't
my
cold.
feet weren't cold, just wet.
It's annoying.
Yeah. And I remember that was the day that we were going to the Knicks game.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And there's some stories about that. So we took the train and we went to Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
Which is where NBC studios are. And where the Tonight Show is filmed. We didn't go to any of the filming or anything. I remember actually I got some Dunkin' Donuts down there.
That's right. Those were good.
And then I think there was an ice cream shop. I think it was a Baskin Robbins. I think.
Yeah, they've just got like little stores in there too.
Yeah, just open to go to and something I didn't realize. But Rockefeller Center is actually a really cool place. They have this like big, beautiful, like Gothic style looking church. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That's crazy. They have Atlas, who is a mythical character who carries the world on his back.
He's got a cool like globe outline on him.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Super cool. Oh, also that's where the ice skating rink is. That I really wanted to see.
Yeah,
and
really pretty.
Weirdly enough, there was no one out there.
Yeah, that was weird. No one there.
I feel like our experience for New York City was kind of weird. Because
not everyone's normal experience,
Well, anytime I hear someone talk about New York City, they're like, "Have you seen the rats?"
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't see any rats.
I didn't see any rats.
I mean, I don't know if I was looking for it, but yeah, it's conspiracy. Yeah, didn't see any rats. Didn't see anything like that. But yeah, went to Rockefeller Center.
Saw the statue.
Saw the statue.
Don't remember what it's called, but I'm sure.
What, the Alice statue?
No, the golden one.
Oh, this one?
The big gold. Yeah, the big gold
that
one.
Thing?
No, back at the skating rink. You kind of have at the top of it. It's
the one where I'm like from behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's this big golden statue of a Greek figure. I'm gonna say Apollo or someone.
Probably.
But that's a really nice statue. And just a small fun fact: the Swope Art Museum here in Terre Haute houses its sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's a sister one in Terre. If you go to Swope, it's just another one. It's just this gold statue of this Greek goddess. So
and the Swope in Terre Haute's free to go into.
Yeah.
You can do donations or anything, but if you're ever in Terre Haute, go to the Swope. It's dope. Swope is dope. Man, could you imagine that marketing?
It'd be pretty great.
Swope is dope.
Get the kids in there. We used to have a Warhol piece there too, but that might have been rental. Or, on it. Yeah, borrowing. Museums do.
We also went to the NBC store.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, but at the same time, it was like,
if you don't like NBC shows, then it's not the coolest. Which we don't really. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I know you don't watch a lot of sitcoms either. So it's like The Office stuff, Friends stuff. And I don't really watch any of those shows.
There's a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, and so all around here, there's actually quite a bit of things right here at Rockefeller Center. There's like Radio City Music Halls right there.
Yeah,
there's
that
NBC
was cool.
store, the Tonight Show starting, Jimmy Fallon, and then not far from that is the New York Public Library.
Yep, and another store we went to as well.
What was that?
The Nintendo store.
Yeah, I got a picture of Gold Mario right there.
Gold Mario right there.
Yeah, the Nintendo store is dope. Like if
That's
you
cool.
if you go to New York and you want to get something for your Switch or whatever.
Yeah, or your a cousin who likes Pokemon or whatever. They got a lot of plushies. I got a keychain. Like
you got a keychain from there?
Yeah, it broke, but I had it.
Oh, really?
It was right when Breath of the Wild came out. It's one of the shields from the game. But it's a cool store. It's a nice little experience. Just cool little place.
Yeah, they have some like historic stuff in there.
Yeah,
they have a collection of all their old gaming consoles.
Yeah,
whether that was the Virtual Boy, which I had a Virtual Boy for a brief time. If you ever have the chance to get a Virtual Boy, if you can get it for the right price, try it out. If not, just pass on it.
I remember one of the artifacts that they had there was a original Game Boy that was. I'm sure I've heard this story before, but a soldier took it with him in the Gulf War, and I don't know. It was either attacked or bombed, but that thing still works. You can still play games on it, which is insane.
Yep. Yeah. It's really cool. That's I wonder how they end up attaining that.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too.
Yeah. Oh, here's a picture that shows the mounds of snow.
Oh yeah, all the slush.
Yeah. Sorry for the people on YouTube who, sorry for the people on the audio only versions of the podcast, because I'll try to get some of these pictures. Jeez, that's wrong.
We're gonna get a lot every time he screams. We're gonna get a picture of Ronnie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't have to, but that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I could put it on on what the kids call the YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's crazy because the New York Public Library closed. I wanted to take Sam in there because there was something special in there that you wanted to see.
Yeah. I didn't know much about these things back in the day, but and I should have thought more about this. But sophomore year, I didn't know a lot about academics and how it all works. But I wanted to see. They had manuscripts of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
You come in and see them, and I did an application. It was like, oh, I'm a student looking to work with these materials for a paper I'm writing. I mean, I did have a class where I was taking that stuff, but I wasn't really looking. I just wanted to see them, So it was a little disingenuous, but they denied it, which I get.
They denied it?
Yeah, they didn't let me go see it because, obviously they just didn't know who I was.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a cool place still, just architecturally and just in general.
Yeah, well, we are also trying to go in there because I only printed off one ticket.
Yeah, that's right.
For the game.
Yep.
For the Knicks game. It was Knicks versus Pacers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I asked you before we went, it's like, are we going to be Knicks fans or are we going to be Pacers fans? And then you kind of pause for a second. Like, we're going to be Pacers fans.
Yeah.
That's funny because I ended up buying a shirt. Yeah.
We went to Burlington Coat Factory.
Yeah. You got like a jersey that was
most
like
hot jersey.
Yeah. Because there's no holes in it.
Yeah. No holes. You died in it. It was awful.
Do you still have it?
I don't know. I might have it somewhere.
That's funny.
Never wear it, but I have it.
Yeah. So
go Pacers.
Yeah, go Pacers. It's funny because that jersey, it's in Pacers colors, but it's unbranded.
Nothing on there.
Yeah,
just some weird jersey.
Yeah, and then I bought like a $5 or $6 shirt off Amazon that said Pacers on it, and I ended up wearing that. But actually, shout out to the receptionist at whatever the hotel is right around there. She actually worked with us for a little while.
Yeah, the
concierge rather.
She was nice.
Yeah, and she actually printed off the tickets for the games at no charge.
Random travelers with wet shoes,
We smelled gross. We looked gross. We did not look like we belonged there.
No, it was a really nice hotel. They had a bar. Anyway.
Yeah, it was crazy how nice that lady was. Can't remember her name, but shout out that lady. After that, though, we ended up going to Grand Central Station.
Oh, that was an experience.
Jeez. Yeah, that place is crazy.
Yeah, it sure was. The station itself is beautiful. You get in there and there's a lot of different, trains and things departing, and those parts are really gorgeous. And there's the main terminal. If you look up at the ceiling, it's kind of got like some constellations and just these cool designs. But there's some other parts in there that are a little less cool.
Yeah, they have restaurants at the bottom of the station, and the station it just seems really, really old. the ceiling to the station, from what I'm seeing here, is like Pegasus and things like that.
It's cool.
Also the like the little ticket booth that has like the iconic clock on it. Yep. There's that. That was really cool. They had an Apple store in there, but they closed the Apple store.
Oh, yeah.
So that was real weird, and we ended up getting food in there. Do you remember what place you got food at, or what you got?
Oh man, I don't remember. There were a lot of lines, a lot of waiting. I mean, that's every place, but
you went to a place
very
that
crowded.
There wasn't that many people.
That's true. I can't remember.
I ended up going to Shake Shack.
Oh yeah, you got you got the Shake Shack app.
Yeah, I got the Shake Shack app. I think I just wanted a milkshake or something.
Say that 3 times fast.
Shake Shack app.
Shake Shack app.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Shake Shack. I didn't even know that was like a real New York thing. I was like, I'm gonna go to the Shake Shack place. I don't know.
Shake Shack.
Yeah. And then after that, it looks like we end up going through Times Square again.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing I was going to say about Grand Central Station is we had a lot of time to kill. So we were there for a very long time, just kind of hanging out on our phones and whatever, eating food. It's hard, but the tough thing about that was New York has a very high homeless population.
Yeah, and they all hung out in the station because obviously it's warm.
Yep. Well, which stay safe. But probably about every 5 to 10 minutes, you'd have someone coming up and asking you for money.
If that.
Yeah, it was tough.
I remember this one guy came up to us, and his play was not to ask money like initially. His was like, how about them Raiders?
Oh, yeah, that guy was weird.
Yeah, he's like, how about them Raiders? He's like, I'm not talking about them Oakland Raiders. I'm talking about them Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, my gosh. That was weird.
We're like, no, dude, please. Come on, just leave us alone.
We're broke ourselves. So we're sorry, but we just can't do it, And
so my advice is if you go there and you end up getting food, don't. Stay as mobile as you possibly can there. Because people are just always begging you for money there, and
and there were some kind of unstable people there too, which was a little scary. So you're kind of like, oof.
Yeah, there's quite a few people in there that was like, whoa, what happened? But I mean, it's crazy.
How it is.
Yeah. Anyway, we end up after that we went to Madison Square Garden to go see the New York Knickerbockers.
That's right.
And we had nosebleed seats for sure.
Sure did.
Like we're like second from the top. Like it was a weird thing because like the view, like it cut off the top of the arena for us. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't see the top. So you didn't have this holistic view of the arena. So it kind of made it like a weird perspective of the arena itself. So.
Hey, long hair Eric standing in front of the arena.
Call that long hair? I mean, it's definitely longer than it is now, but it wasn't like when I went to Australia.
Yeah, it's true.
But go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we had such nosebleed seats that no one was really around us very often, so it's not very hygienic, especially in these times. But we did take off our wet socks and shoes.
I feel so bad about this.
I don't know if I know the story. I'm excited to hear it.
I mean, you're right there. So like. We sat down. We were literally the only Pacers fans, and
Pacers Nation, stay
strong. Took off my shoes, took off my socks. I wrang out my socks.
Yeah, that's right.
Wrang them out right there, like to the side or whatever.
On this concrete, yeah.
Yeah, and then I sat them on like the chair or whatever, just so they could dry because I just wanted some.
I just want some warmth.
So yeah,
dryness.
Some warmth and dryness because my feet were still wet.
Just hate the feeling of like you've just been swimming, like that kind of wetness, like your wrinkled toes and just.
Yeah, just imagine going swimming, but all you do is you're standing in the water.
Yep.
Up to your ankles.
Feet are like the weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's no good.
Yeah, the game was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
The game, I can't remember what the score was to the game.
Lost.
Yeah, I know we lost.
Oh, okay.
But it was crazy. Oh, I remember. The Pacers were up by like 20.
Yeah, that's right. And we were like, and all the other fans were like, shut up.
Yeah, and it's funny because like once they came back, and I think they probably end up winning by 10 or 15 or so.
They had that player,
Kristaps Porzingis.
That's the one.
Who? What do you like to call him?
Oh yeah, Kristaps Porzingis.
Porzingis. Yeah, and something that's cool because it's New York City. If there's a game, they will show whatever celebrities are at the game.
Oh yeah, I can't remember who was there.
That guy from the Sasquatch gang, Zeke.
Oh,
the white dude. You know. Oh, I'll have to show you.
He's gonna look it up.
Yeah.
While you look that up, is there anything else about the game? Because I know something on the way home happened that was interesting.
Are you talking about in the subway?
I am.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we lost the game. We were only 2 Pacers fans, but we stayed strong. And on the way home, we got in the subway. We're waiting. Everyone's tired and exhausted. We're waiting for the subway train to come by. And all of a sudden, we get on and we look over, and there's another Pacers fan. He's like, yeah. And we're like, yeah. And he's decked out in his Pacers gear. And we're like, right on, man. So that was really cool. There was also some crazy person in one of the subways before we got off. But
oh, my goodness. No, so like
I don't remember much about him. So
I remember the interaction between us and the other Pacers fans, and something I didn't realize that New York, something that I forgot. New York Knicks had a rivalry with the Indiana Pacers and Reggie Miller in the 90s. It got pretty heated pretty often when it came to the Eastern Conference Finals. So there was a time where someone saw us like with the Pacers gear on. They booed at us outside of the stadium.
That's right.
But the Pacers fans that we saw there, it was like us two, and then there was like 3 others like standing from a distance in the subway. We looked at each other. We kind of like did like one of those like head nods, like hey, like put hands up, like hey,
yeah.
And then we were off on our way. But that same night, the subway that we hopped on. That crazy dude just like running around, just yelling in the subway car. And we were on that same one for a couple stops, and I was like, this dude's crazy. Yeah. Like, he's obviously on something. He could be dangerous. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, next stop, we're going to get off this cart, and we're going to hop onto like a car behind us. Yeah. Great move. Smart move.
And I remember, I don't know if it's that guy or another one, but one of the crazy guys that we ran into in the subway, it's weird. We're getting off of a stop, and he gets up and he starts yelling, and he's like, and you know what? And like this older gentleman, he's walking off with us, and he's like, we got off at the right time. Like, yeah, we did.
I remember that now. The guy's name is Justin Long.
Justin Long. Okay.
In the Sasquatch Gang, he plays Zerk. You know the Sasquatch Gang. What a stupid movie.
I've seen it once. Just once.
It's so stupid, but it's so great. Are you the Lizard Wizard?
Lizard Wizard?
Yeah, that's a good show. He's also in Dodgeball.
Don't know, a Squatch track from a snack pack.
That's right.
What's his name? Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I got a picture of us on the subway.
Hey, it's a picture of us on the subway.
I wonder if that was before or after the crazy guy.
I don't know.
Oh, this looks like, let's see. We went to the Nintendo store March 15th.
Oh, okay. Oh, because it was shut down that one day because of Blizzard. And then we went the next day. Before we go on to the next day was also something else that happened when we got back to our apartment.
What's that?
Not our apartment. I made a bad decision regarding our socks. I don't know if you remember my socks. Gosh. I don't know if you remember. So we
that day after, the day after we got back, we put them on the
radiator. Yep. Yeah, so we live in this little residential
stunk up our room
Airbnb.
So bad.
Yeah, and you take your socks off, and they're like flat and crispy, and just you can't wear them. They were insane.
Yeah, you couldn't wear them. Also, at the end of the day, I was like, are your feet hurting? But not like hurting. I was like, do your feet feel chapped?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. That's actually that's what
feel like.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Chapped.
And I was like, yeah, my feet are so chapped, they hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
they did.
That night we ended up getting delivery some
gosh,
pizza place.
Yes,
the place was good.
So good.
Very greasy.
Very greasy. Very good.
Don't remember what it was, but very good. Very greasy.
Wonderful.
Yeah, went to the Nintendo store the day after. I think I was looking for a SNES or NES Classic.
Oh yeah, because we've gotten them before. And trying to see if they, just out of curiosity, if they had them.
Yeah, didn't have any, but they had a bunch of cool history stuff. In
Yeah,
there.
it was a cool place, and they had the big screen upstairs where you can. Sometimes they'll do like launch parties.
The
or
Switch
reveals.
literally just came out because you could take your picture.
Yeah,
with
that was
like
cool.
a big Switch.
You could take a picture with a big.
I thought you were about to say something.
No, with a big Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so we went to the Nintendo store there, and then we went to the Museum of Natural History. Saw the big dum dum heads.
Yeah, from Night Museum. A lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, they're not like
you
real,
could spend
real
2
ones.
weeks
They're
in
foam
there.
ones. Yeah, they had the big dinosaur and all that good stuff. And that one.
If that's Sue or not. I don't know.
What?
There's a big T-Rex named Sue. I don't know if that's her or not.
This one?
Yeah.
Possibly.
It might be Sue.
Possibly. And then after that, we went to the Guggenheim.
Yeah. Saw some Picasso, some Jackson Pollock.
Something that you told me that I didn't realize. I was just going to walk from the bottom up.
Oh, yeah. So, the Guggenheim is designed by, I want to say Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And, it sounds right. Another bad Sam pun. But it's designed, I don't know if you've ever seen the building, it's this big swirl upward. And what you do is when you get there, you take an elevator to the top, and it's designed in such a way that you walk down that swirl part, and it's easy to get down it. And it kind of directs the flow of traffic. So you have people going up and down. And it's easier, obviously, to walk down than up something. So it's more relaxing. It's got an interesting pace to it. We also saw something really interesting there.
Yeah, it was fire. You talking about the toilet?
I sure am.
So that toilet, I feel like recently that toilet was stolen or something.
I could see why.
But it was. I think it was. Thanks, Ronnie. If it wasn't, I think it was 24 karat gold.
I think so.
Which it'd be really soft. But I think this was a temporary piece.
Yeah.
But it's a functioning piece of art, and it's literally just a gold toilet that you can literally use if you want to. You can poop or you can pee in it.
They put it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
In like a single-use bathroom, single person.
And there's an attendant that opens the door for you and like moderates the line and stuff like this.
It had a name too.
Yeah,
an Italian artist. I can't remember. It was like American something.
It was just America.
America. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the piece is America, and it's 24 karat gold toilet. And the toilet, I went in before Sam, and I
sure did.
I had to poop.
He sure did.
And I drop logs. I drop baby's arms from my booty hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some big old poopies. Anyway, I dropped a couple quick logs in there and flushed it. So glad it actually flushed. And
yeah, he was like, "What if I clogged this museum piece?"
I was like, "What if I break this?" He's like,
break
"Don't
it,
do
you
it."
buy it.
He's like, "Don't do it." I was like, "I'm gonna do it."
He said, "I'm gonna try my best."
Yeah,
my brother would have
went in there, pooped. Then Sam went in there, put his face by the toilet,
took picture. Naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
I was not COVID-19 abiding.
Yeah, talk. Because it wasn't even thought of then.
Wasn't even thought of.
Yeah. And then after that, we went to a viral place that went viral on Facebook.
Right.
That place is called Dough, and they serve you raw cookie dough that is edible raw. And they have a bunch of different flavors, and you can put it in ice creams, or you can just get cups of it. I ended up getting a cup and a shake. And the crazy thing about that, at that time, it was still very popular, and there used to be lines that would wrap around the businesses that were on the same block.
Yeah.
However, I think the businesses were getting mad because customers couldn't get into the stores and blocking the entrances. Therefore, they had to have an employee stand at the door of the cookie dough place and tell you to walk across the street, and then there's an attendant there that would give you a ticket, and you had to stand in line over there. So you stood in line across the street.
Yeah.
They gave you the ticket. You take the ticket. You give it to the bouncer at the door for the cookie dough place. Then you get inside the cookie dough place, and then you're waiting in line again at the cookie dough place. Then you go through the line, you pick the cookie dough out that you want.
And not just a line, but a line that wraps around all of the, perimeter of the, inside of the little building.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah, at that time there was like it was cool because just before that place went viral, we found it online when it went viral.
Yeah.
Then a few weeks after it went viral, I was like, "Yo, we gotta go to this cookie dough place in New York because we gotta get that clout."
That's right.
That clout.
That's what we aim for in all that we do.
That's right. I don't have it. This doesn't show me any more pictures from. Let's see. I can do. I'll just go to the timeline. March 15th, 2007. What?
2017.
Yeah, I said March 15th, 2007. Oh, man. Or 2007, 2017. Hey, yeah. Jesus. What year is this? Dude, we also went to Tampa Bay that year.
Yeah, we did. It was a good year.
That was a great year. Man, that was a good year.
That was a good year. How about that? Thinking back, how about that? It's a good year.
Oh, that's 2018. I need to go back a little bit. That's Ireland, so I need to go further up.
You can catch these other episodes about Ireland and other places.
Yeah, and you can catch these hands.
That's right. If you're lucky enough.
If you're lucky enough. What? Do I not know when is March? What is this?
Third month of the year. Right before April. Right after February.
Punch in the mouth is what's going to happen. Did I go to New York and Ireland in 2017?
Wow. We're learning more about Eric.
I'm learning more about myself.
This is a self-discovery podcast as well.
I don't even know. That's all the pictures that I have, apparently.
Man.
This is weird.
Very strange.
It keeps going back and back and back. Okay. Did I go to Las Vegas too in 2017? Good grief.
It was the year of Eric.
I'm
telling you.
Just going everywhere. Good grief. What is this? I got a bunch of stupid photos. Anyway. So what was your favorite part of New York?
Oh man. I can't say I'd name like okay, if I have to pick a favorite, I'd probably agree with you on the World Trade Center kind of memorial thing, 9/11 memorial that they have. It's probably my favorite thing that I visited. I think a lot of the travel in between the places was a lot of fun, a lot more fun than you think. You're thinking, oh, we're just going around this place, but the sights and sounds of the city and our interactions with everything else made things a lot of fun. So it was just a good trip all around. I think, any other, if you were just traveling with family and you're going through like wet socks and miserable conditions, like it would have been horrible. But when you're with your best friend, it's like, this is fun.
I feel like a lot of people would definitely complain and whatnot.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time.
I will say friend trips versus like family trips, they're completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Definitely.
Yeah. So one of the last things that I can share, or at least take away from New York City, was when we were flying back out of Newark Airport. We played a game in the airport.
Oh yeah.
That
pass this on to some other people.
I literally just came up with this game,
but it's fun.
On the spot when we were going through TSA, because TSA was crazy at that time.
So long, we had nothing to do. I'd finished the book that I brought. And Eric came up with this great game. It has to do with people's first or last names. It's a rhyming game.
Let's name it Rhyme Time.
Yeah, let's just name it Rhyme Time. It's kind of like rhyming in different riddles. So if you're playing this game called Rhyme Time, the rules are you pick a name that you mutually agree upon, and the one we got the most mileage with was
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah. So you might ask Eric, what do you call Bill Gates when he is filling up a balloon? And Eric would say,
I don't know.
Bill inflates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you would just try to guess.
The only one that I can think of that you absolutely love that you made up was Bill appropriates.
Yeah. Bill appropriates. Bill pontificates.
Oh, that was the one.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
You just play this with celebrity names, and I've done it with some other like CSF friends in the car, and it's dumb, but it's fun. And you try to see how many riddles with these weird rhyming answers that you can come up with, and if you repeat them, then you lose. And you probably did Bill Gates.
I feel like there's no real about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no winner or loser to the game.
It's just the fun that you have along the way.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess it'd be a game that you'd play like in a car just.
Yeah, it's like those road trip games. You know?
That game was actually it kept me so entertained.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how long the line was.
Yeah, we really didn't. We just kept thinking about Bill Gates and the things that we thought he would do, and
his
expand your vocabulary, and it's just fun.
Yeah, that game was fire. If you made it to this far into the podcast and you heard, I forgot what we named it.
Rhyme Time.
Rhyme Time?
Yeah.
All right. Use hashtag Rhyme Time. I'm not going to spell it because I can't spell.
Right.
But Rhyme Time, nope, don't spell it. Don't want you to do it.
You have to do it. Be an adult. Spell yourself.
Yeah. And maybe take a video of you saying or doing the Rhyme Time game that we explained.
Do it with Eric's name.
You probably won't get far.
That's true. You probably won't.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe do it with my name.
What's your name?
Samuel Grant.
Samuel Grant. Sam Grant.
Sam Grant. Either one.
Anyway, yeah. Do it with anyone's name, family, friend,
enemy,
famous person, enemy,
rival.
Tag the podcast at Full Chat Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, wherever you want to.
All of your heart's desires.
All of your heart's desires. And let's see.
Tweet at Ronnie.
McConnell71.
Send him videos of you being quiet and still in a room.
Or just staring.
Just
staring at him.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. And then you can follow me, your host, at _Eric Roberts, and that's on Instagram and Twitter. Samuel Grant, do you have any plugs you want, or do you have anything you can say to the people?
No, I don't post
anything inspirational.
Inspirational.
Just to give someone some hope.
Give someone some hope. Well, the Gandhi quote that's always everywhere is "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
No, give me more.
There's that.
Give me more.
If you think it's reported that Oscar Wilde, famous Irish playwright, that when he died in a hotel and it was really gross and terrible, and the wallpaper and the curtains were awful, and he said, "Well, it's either me or these curtains that are gonna have to go. So it's either you or those curtains. You can do it.
Yeah.
Make those curtains go away. Do it.
I want to run through a wall now, baby. Let's go.
Run through the wall. Do it.
All right, that was the Full Chat Podcast, everyone. Thanks for Sam for coming on the show, and we are going to play that royalty-free music.
Yeah.
Love you, everyone.